English 122, Day 2, Argument as Truth-Seeking, from Writing Arguments, pages 1 to 22. Argument can be difficult to define, but when considering argument for the purposes of this course, it's important to remember a few things that argument isn't, as well as a few things that argument is. Argument never means a fight or a quarrel. Instead, argument, as we'll be discussing it for this course, is a creative and productive activity that engages individuals at high levels of inquiry and critical thinking, often in conversation with others. Similarly, argument is never a pro-con debate. Debate is a formal contest of argumentation in which two opposing teams defend and attack a given proposition, and turns an argument into a game of winners and losers rather than a process of cooperative inquiry. On the other hand, argument always requires reasons and evidence as justification for its claims. Argument always is both a process and a product. And good intellectual argument always combines truth-seeking and persuasion. Along with this, arguments can be either explicit or implicit. Explicit arguments directly state a controversial claim and support it with reasons and evidence. Implicit arguments, on the other hand, still persuade their audience toward a certain point of view, but they may not look like an argument at all, or they may not appear to make a claim. However, most arguments will fall somewhere along a continuum between very exploratory writing and outright propaganda. When considering intellectual argument for the purposes of this course, we can look to ancient Greek and Roman orators for strategies of persuasion. Considering these strategies, there was a dialogue between Socrates and the Sophists, which produced a theory that arguments waver between truth-seeking and persuasion. The Sophists were on the persuasion side. The Sophists were professional Greek rhetoricians who specialized in training orators to win arguments on behalf of any lobbying group willing to pay for their services. The Sophists believed that the truth was determined by those in power. Thus, they could enter an argument unconstrained by any transcendent beliefs or assumptions, and they believed that justice and virtue were fictitious concepts invented by the weak to protect themselves from the strong. This is known as a relativist perspective. The Sophists also believed in different degrees of truth and different kinds of truth for different situations or cultures, and believed that the truth itself comes from shared assumptions of particular cultures, which is known as a pluralistic perspective. As you can see, the goal for the Sophists was merely to win the argument with all the value being placed on persuasion. Socrates, on the other hand, valued the truth-seeking process over persuasion and believed that the truth could be discovered through philosophic inquiry. Socrates believed that the truth resided in the ideal world of forms, and through philosophic rigor, humans could transcend the changing, shadow-like world of everyday reality to perceive the world of universals where truth, beauty, and real goodness resided. Socrates believed that the arguer's duty belonged not in winning the argument, but in pursuing the higher truth, and he valued listening to all sides of a dispute, peeling away false arguments, and discovering the truth through reasonable inquiry and committing to a right course of action. Along with this, Socrates distrusted rhetoricians because they were interested only in the temporal power and wealth that came from persuading audiences to the orator's views. Today, we blend these strategies of truth-seeking and persuasion in good argumentative writing. For good writers, truth-seeking does not mean finding the right answer to a disputed question, but neither does it mean a valueless relativism in which all answers are equally good. Good argument can only hope to increase adherence to ideas, not to absolutely convince an audience of the necessary truth of ideas. What this means is that there may not be an absolute truth, and seeking the right course of action is valuable, but also that persuasive strategies are important to then increase the audience's adherence to those ideas. Good writers take ethical responsibility for the consequences of their claims and then seek justice for stakeholders beyond themselves. Today we believe that to seek truth means to seek the best or most just solution to a problem while observing all available evidence, listening with an open mind to the views of all stakeholders, clarifying and attempting to justify all values and assumptions, and taking responsibility for the argument itself. Good arguments seek out the truth in a wide range of views and treat those views respectfully.